to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And the New York Giants took on the Philadelphia Eagles tonight in Week 14 as they dropped their ninth straight contest. They had, of course, had lost 8 coming into this game after starting 2-2. They are now 2-11. And, I'm going to recap the entire game. For all the tank people out there, people that wanted the Giants to lose, I always say, never tell people how to root for their team. I understand that by losing, you could certainly make an argument that is not even an argument. It's true. It is better long-term for the New York Giants if they're able to get a higher draft pick. It's just common sense. I just could not find it in my heart personally to do that tonight against the Philadelphia Eagles in an opportunity to really, put a clamp on their playoff hopes. They would have been really 2 games out because the Cowboys are going to hold the advantage with the tiebreaker. If the Eagles lost tonight, it would be their second divisional loss. They already lost to the Cowboys heads up. So it really would have nearly ended the Eagles' playoff hopes if the Giants were able to do that. So I was dying for a win tonight, especially with Eli Manning coming back, my favorite player of all time. And Eli Manning played great in the first half, and it would have been a storybook game for Eli Manning to come back, get a win at the Link, really, put damage on the Eagles' playoff hopes for the year. But as far as the tank people go, yeah, Giants stay in the position that they are, and that's, I suppose, good news in terms of the draft pick. We're still second in the standings. We're a game back of the Bengals. We hold a 2-game lead when you factor in the strength of schedule against both the Dolphins and the Redskins, who we will play over the next 2 weeks. And this pretty much solidifies that as long as we lose one of those 2 games, we will be getting pretty much the second pick. I mean, maybe we could drop to the 3, but I think we're close to being locked in at the second pick at this point, the way this team is playing. And they just find ways to lose games. And it's the same thing that happens every year when we play this football team. It's the same thing. Every year, 3 of the last 4 games, 4 of the last 5 games, we could have easily won. We had a 14-point lead, much like the last year, the second time we played them, where we demolished them in the first half. We should have been up by more than we were in that game. We ran the ball over them. Eli throws the pick before the half, and then the Eagles make adjustments, and they beat us. And it's the same story this year. Pat Shurmur makes no second-half adjustments. James Betcher makes no second-half adjustments, and they killed us in the second half. Now I'll talk about some of the positives. The first half, Giants played their best half of football all year on both sides of the football. Eli Manning came out. He was slinging the rock. He was throwing the ball down the field. Darius Slayton was the star of the game. Darius Slayton was incredible. He caught both touchdowns. He broke the tackle there at the 30. He was able to spin out of it and run into the left corner. And then on the second touchdown, right before the half, there was like 25 seconds left. Eli Manning hits him on a deep bomb in this, down the left sideline. And Eli hit another player. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. I think it set up the field goal on a deep bomb down the left sideline as well. Might have been Slayton again. Slayton had over 150 yards at halftime. He was incredible in this game. Saquon Barkley was consistent. He had a bad first carry. His first carry, I think he had -5 yards. Did too many spins. Tried to pull that Barry Sanders, and he lost more yards than he should have. But overall, Saquon Barkley was pretty good. He was consistent. Didn't break any big runs, which we're still looking for. But offensively in that first half, you couldn't have asked for much more. You put up 17 points. They moved the ball. They hit on big plays. And they didn't turn the ball over. Matter of fact, they didn't turn the ball over the entire night. And, they had that fumble, but the Giants recovered it. Barkley was able to land on it when it was a bad snap by the center, Jalapeno. And Jalapeno sucks. He let up more pressure up the middle. And we'll talk about that more. As far as the defense goes, I mean, the rookie specifically tonight, and Marcus Golden. But the defense was incredible in that first half. Julian Love has been remarkable for the New York Giants since he's got an opportunity, and that's the positives you take out of this game. The rookies had great games. Darius Slayton on the offensive side of the football, and then on the defensive side, Baker had a really good game. Julian Love had a great game. Zimenez had 2 sacks. So you really got standout performances from the rookie defensive players in this game, and maybe they're starting to show signs of progression, and hopefully that continues over the last 4 games. To start the game, Julian Love had a great open field tackle on Zach Ertz. He also made a great tackle when Wentz was running for what seemed to be a first down. He was able to tackle him 5 yards short of the stick with great side-to-side quickness. Love played really well in coverage. DeAndre Baker, same story. DeAndre Baker had a number of batted balls, one of which was in the end zone where the Philadelphia Eagles inexplicably challenged it for a pass interference. It was a horrible challenge by Peterson, but it was not overturned. DeAndre Baker had a really strong game. Dexter Lawrence had a great game. He got pressure up the middle, had a big batted ball for what would have been a first down in a big spot. I think it was a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. Lawrence had a really great game. And like I said, the X-Man had 2 sacks, doubling his total for the year. I think he had 2 coming in. Played great off the edge. So that's encouraging there for O'Shane. And then Marcus Golden. Marcus Golden's been a standout all year. That did not change tonight. Continued to get pressure on the quarterback. And in the first half, the first 2.5 quarters, the defense played lights out. Second half, like I said, we make no adjustments. Pat Shurmur makes no adjustments whatsoever. And I'm not putting, they called a great game plan in the first half. I even remember they had a great reverse call. I try to be as fair as I can on this channel. I really do. They come out there in the second half, and the offense is just stagnant. Darius Slayton, I think, had one. I don't think he had a catch in the second half. He had 1 target, I think. And that was late in the game. And they couldn't get anything going on offense. The offensive line completely broke down. Nate Solder was getting used and abused there down the stretch. Jalapeno was getting used and abused. And the defense kept them in it. First 2 drives, they were able to get the ball back. And I said to Bad Dog, I said the offense has to start doing something. And they couldn't. They couldn't get anything going there in that entire second half. I think the time of possession numbers, they beat us by 20 minutes. And the Eagles just moved the ball up and down the field there in that second half. It was a tale of 2 halves. It was like the complete opposite. The Eagles looked great in the second half. They looked horrible in the first. And it was the reverse for the Giants, much like the last time we played them last year. And the Eagles were able to tie up the game late in the game. At 17 apiece, and the Giants had an opportunity to win it, and they couldn't do it. And Pat Shurmur, at the end of the regulation, there's about 40 seconds left. It's 4th and 2, I think it was, for the Eagles at their own 40, 41, maybe 42. So they can't go for it there, because if they go for it there and they miss, game's over. Giants need like 5 yards for a field goal attempt. So you knew they weren't going for it if they have any brain, at home with 40 seconds left. They're going to punt the football. And Pat Shurmur inexplicably does not call a timeout. He lets the clock tick down all the way to 15 seconds. And Doug Peterson's kind of looking at him like waiting for Shurmur to call a timeout, and he wouldn't do it. He had no faith in his defense. He thought that Peterson was going to go for it like he had throughout the entire game. And maybe he would have. But at that point, you roll the dice. And you hope they go for it, and your defense stops them. And then you're set up with great field position. You roll the dice there. You got to. You can't play to go to overtime on the road. Like, what is Shurmur thinking? That makes no sense whatsoever. And again, it's late game decision making by Pat Shurmur, which is why he's going to lose his job. Pat Shurmur is going to be fired. He just is. And I've tried to be patient with this guy all year. He's going to be fired. They're going to blow up this coaching staff. And like I said, the defense wore down. I'm not going to put this loss on the defense. Yes, there were some blown plays in coverage. Ertz had a couple of big catches down the stretch. But at the end of the day, the offense couldn't do anything in the second half. And Pat Shurmur, awful there with that timeout usage there at the end of the game. Eagles get the ball. They go down the field, and they win the game. Zach Ertz catches a touchdown in the middle of the end zone. But the Eagles are trash. They're still trash. I don't care if they beat the Giants. They were at home coming off a loss to the Dolphins, and they should have lost this game. The Giants blew it, but you got completely outplayed in the first half. But congratulations on the victory. You get the 6-7 as you're tied up with the trash NFC East, and maybe you sneak into the playoffs, and one of you guys will get embarrassed in the first round. And if you don't, maybe you'll win a home playoff game, because the NFL rules are so stupid that if you go 7-9 or 8-8 and you win your division, you get a home playoff game, and you could win at home. You're not getting past the division round. Neither team is. This division is complete crap. But the Eagles get a win they needed. And like I said, I guess the positives you take out of this, the rookies played great. Eli Manning had a couple of signature moments that was nice to see for me. I'm a huge Eli fan. I know a lot of Giants fans are. And they lose, but their draft position remains intact. They're firmly in that number 2 spot with a chance to pass the Bengals if they ever tie, being that the Giants hold the tiebreaker with the strength of schedule. But yeah, it seems more and more likely that Chase Young will be there when we pick, unless the Bengals pass on a quarterback. And we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. We got 3 games left. Through all 3 games are winnable. I mean, we're playing the bottom of the bottom. We're playing the Eagles again, who we should have beat tonight or could have beat tonight. And we'll be at home. And then we got the Dolphins and the Redskins, who are the bottom of the league with us. So we'll see what happens these last 3 games as far as the draft pick goes, and as far as hopefully the progression of our young players, even if Daniel Jones does come back the last week. And the young players on the defense, just a tough loss tonight. And I don't know what else to say other than Pat Shurmur is gone. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in the live stream tonight. You guys showed incredible love, incredible generosity. You guys are the best supporters on YouTube. I always say it. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you for all your love and your support. Thank you guys for being phenomenal Giants fans. And thank you guys for helping me get through tough times like this. I mean, I'm a fan just like you guys are. And watching this game tonight was tough to watch. But you guys always make it a little bit easier. So thank you guys for being great fans and still tuning into my stuff, even when the team is in dark times. And I promise eventually it'll get better. That's all I got to say, man. As always, if you like what you watch, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.